I sat in my car, watching the sales report notification appear on my phone. Q3 sales down 68% from last year. A slight smile crossed my face as I silenced the ringer. The fifth desperate call from my former boss in the last hour would have to go unanswered, just like the previous four. My name is Daniel Frost. I'm 52 years old, and until 6 weeks ago, I was the Senior Vice President of Global Sales at a mid-sized enterprise software company. For 17 years, I built their client relationships, personally handling our largest accounts and generating 65% of the company's total revenue last year alone. I turned off my phone and continued sorting through fishing tackle. This lake house weekend had been planned for months. The fact that it coincided with the company's quarterly earnings call was merely convenient timing. The meeting that ended my career lasted exactly 12 minutes. Rebecca Winters, our new CEO of 8 months, had been brought in to modernize operations after our founder retired. At 34, with her Stanford MBA and previously heading a trendy startup, she embodied the youth-obsessed corporate culture. Daniel, we're restructuring the sales division to align with our digital-first approach, she explained, not looking up from her tablet. We need younger talent with fresh perspectives for our new direction. Younger talent, I repeated, the words hanging in the air between us. Last quarter, I'd closed the Westfield contract, our largest ever, at $14 million. It's nothing personal, added Jason, from HR, sliding the severance package across the table. 2 months' pay and benefits through the end of the month. For 17 years, I said quietly. Rebecca finally looked up. I'm sorry. I've been here 17 years, generated over $300 million in sales. 2 months severance seems disproportionate. Industry standard, Jason replied with practiced neutrality. I nodded, taking the folder. I understand. And I did, far better than they realized. What Rebecca didn't know was that I'd seen this coming months ago. More importantly, I understood something fundamental about our industry that Rebecca, with her digital dashboards and AI forecasting models, had overlooked. Enterprise software sales isn't about products. It's about relationships. When I started at the company in 2006, we were barely breaking even. I spent years cultivating personal connections with procurement officers, CTOs, and executives at dozens of companies. I knew their children's names, their golf handicaps, their alma maters. These weren't just sales tactics. They were genuine relationships built on trust and mutual respect. When problems arose with implementation or when our product lacked certain features, clients stayed because they trusted me to make it right. None of this appeared in Rebecca's analytics or CRM databases. Customer loyalty doesn't convert easily into data points on a slide deck. As I cleared out my desk that afternoon, Melissa from my team slipped me a note with tears in her eyes. Emergency sales meeting called for tomorrow. They're announcing exciting changes to the sales structure. She'd been my assistant for 12 years. I thanked her, pocketed the note, and continued packing. The picture of my wife and I at the company's 10th anniversary celebration. The signed baseball from when I took the Pearson Technologies team to a Yankees game to celebrate their contract renewal. I handed my badge to security at the front desk. Tom, whose son I'd helped get an internship 3 summers ago. His eyes avoided mine as he took it. Good luck, Tom, I said sincerely. As we pulled away from the gleaming office tower, I sent a single text message to an encrypted number. Frost warning in effect. What followed was precisely what I'd anticipated. Rebecca announced a dynamic restructuring of the sales division. My role was eliminated, my responsibilities distributed among 3 freshly hired MBA graduates. And then the calls started coming in. First from Walter Green at Allied Financial. Daniel, I just spoke with someone named Tyler from your company, 26 years old, and tried to explain our compliance requirements to me. Said you'd moved on. What's happening over there? Then Sanjay from Integrated Systems. Your replacement just suggested we pivot to a SaaS implementation when we've explicitly discussed why that won't work for our security protocols. Are you really gone? I took these calls, expressed appropriate regret about organizational changes, and wished them well. I didn't badmouth the company. I didn't need to. By week 3, 6 of our largest clients had declined to renew their contracts. By week 4, that number had grown to 11. Not because I'd asked them to leave, but because the relationships I'd built weren't transferable assets on a balance sheet. The first call from Rebecca came exactly 26 days after my termination. I let it go to voicemail. Daniel, it's Rebecca Winters. There seems to be some confusion with the Westfield account. They're requesting to speak only with you regarding their implementation timeline. Please call me at your earliest convenience. I deleted the message and took my dog for a walk. 3 more calls followed that day, each more urgent than the last. By the 5th call, Rebecca's professional veneer had cracked entirely. Daniel, we are facing a serious situation with multiple key accounts. Whatever your grievances, surely you don't want to see the company fail. We need your assistance transitioning these relationships. Please call me back immediately. I continued preparing for my lake house weekend. The encrypted file wasn't some corporate secret or proprietary data. It was simply a document I'd created years ago, a detailed contingency plan for my eventual departure, shared with a select group of trusted colleagues who had also recognized the shifting corporate winds. Instructions for how each of them could protect themselves, transition gracefully, and maintain their professional integrity when the inevitable restructuring came for them too. Suggestions for how to update their resumes, which competitors might value their expertise. I hadn't destroyed the company. I'd simply protected the people who'd been loyal to me, just as I'd always done. Friday morning, my personal phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Mr. Frost, this is Howard Benson, chairman of the board at your former company. Mr. Benson, I acknowledged, continuing to load my tackle box. I'll be direct. We're experiencing an unprecedented client retention issue. The board has authorized me to offer you a consulting position to help stabilize these relationships. The compensation would be substantial. That's an interesting proposal, Mr. Benson. We're prepared to offer 3 times your previous salary, plus equity considerations. And Rebecca? A pause. Ms. Winters will be transitioning to a strategic advisory role. Corporate speak for fired. I looked at the lake house keys in my hand, thinking about the 17 years I'd given to the company. I appreciate the offer, Mr. Benson, but I'm actually transitioning myself. Harrison Systems hired me last week as their chief revenue officer. I start after a much-needed vacation. I see. They're a competitor. Yes, with a CEO who values experience and client relationships. After we hung up, I sent a final group text to my former team. Weather clearing. Frost advisory lifted. Drinks next Friday to discuss new forecast. As I drove toward the lake, my phone lit up with the quarterly earnings notification. The company had missed projections by 63%. The stock was already down 28% in pre-market trading. I turned on the radio and rolled down the windows. Sometimes the most satisfying revenge isn't what you do. It's simply allowing the natural consequences of someone else's decisions to unfold unimpeded.